Welcome to NeoEnglish, the podcast that helps you learn English for real conversations about today's news.
Hello. Today we have a very interesting topic, how the brain judges social encounters. That means how our brains decide if meeting someone feels good or bad.
Right? Scientists have found out which parts of the brain help us decide if our social meetings are positive, like friendly and happy, or negative, like uncomfortable or sad.
Let's use simple words. When you meet someone new, your brain quickly decides, do I like this person? Am I comfortable? That's what this news is about.
Scientists studied this by looking at something called neural circuitry. This just means the group of cells in your brain that work together, like a team, to help you think or feel something.
And the news also talks about neuromodulators. Don't worry, it's a big word. Neuromodulators are chemicals in your brain that help control how you feel. Two important ones are serotonin and neurotensin.
Serotonin helps you feel happy or calm. For example, when you eat chocolate or get a hug, your brain uses serotonin to make you feel good.
Neurotensin is less famous, but it also helps control your emotions. For example, it can make you feel excited or relaxed when you talk to friends.
So, when you talk to someone, your brain uses these chemicals to decide, do I feel good with this person? Am I scared, happy, or stressed?
Let's give two examples. Imagine you meet your best friend. You laugh, and you feel positive feelings. Your brain is using serotonin and neurotensin to say, this is nice.
Example 2. Imagine you meet someone who yells at you. You feel nervous or upset. Your brain uses the same chemicals, but this time, you feel negative emotions.
The scientists wanted to know how this works, and they found the special circuits and chemicals inside our brains that help make this decision every day.
Let's talk about some words from the news before we keep going. First, the phrase emotional value. That means, is something good or bad for your feelings?
For example, a smile has a positive emotional value. An angry shout has a negative emotional value.
Next, social encounter. That is simply when you meet or talk to someone else. For example, saying hi to a neighbor is a social encounter. Talking to a friend in a cafe is another social encounter.
And finally, neural circuitry. Remember, that's the part of your brain where cells work together to help you think, feel, and decide.
So, the main point of the news is our brains have special teams of cells and use chemicals like serotonin and neurotensin to judge if a meeting with someone feels good or bad.
The scientist's discovery helps us understand why sometimes we like being around some people, and sometimes we feel uncomfortable with others.
Let's make it even easier to understand by telling this news as a little story.
Imagine your brain is like a movie theater. When you meet someone, two workers, serotonin and neurotensin, show a movie about your feelings. If the movie is happy, you feel good. If the movie is sad, you feel bad.
Your brain circuits are like the wires that control the sound and lights. If everything works, the movie matches your real-life feelings. That's how your brain judges every social encounter.
And this is why you might feel happy with one person, but maybe nervous with another. It's not just you, it's how every brain works.
Now, let's recap the new vocabulary and phrases. First, emotional value, whether something feels good or bad for your feelings.
Next, social encounter. Anytime you meet or talk to another person.
We also learned neural circuitry, the brain's team of cells that help you think and feel.
And neuromodulators, like serotonin and neurotensin, which help control how you feel in these moments.
Here's a short story using the words. Yesterday, I had a social encounter with a new neighbor. My brain's neural circuitry and neuromodulators decided the emotional value was positive because she smiled and was friendly.
Another example. I had a social encounter with a person who was angry. My brain judged the emotional value as negative, so I felt uncomfortable.
That's how the brain works every day for everyone. You can use these words whenever you describe your feelings or talk about meeting new people.
Thanks for joining us today on NeoEnglish. If you want more news, vocabulary, and English practice, subscribe so you never miss a daily story.
See you next time, and remember, every social encounter helps your English improve.